Let's do it.
So 3, 2, 1. Not really 3, 2, 1. I've got to turn that off. Little tech issue. What up?
Hey.
So part 2, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so folks watching the co-host search thing's going. So I had a few people stand me up.
Oh, really?
Fabulously. So they're clearly not in the running.
Yeah.
And then had people that were kind of a little bit of a pain in the ass to nail down. So obviously of the people that showed and corresponded and stuff, I've got a couple favorites. So obviously you're one of the favorites because we got part 2. You know,
Sweet,
whatever.
Yeah.
So as always, shoot me some DMs. Let me know what you guys think. And for those of you watching, thank you. For those of you listening, thank you. And let's get at it, dude. So
All right.
crazy week. When you were here last week?
Yeah.
Was it last week?
Yeah.
I don't know what week's
Something
like
that.
Some day that
I'm just
wasn't
gonna
today.
confidently say yes and be done with it.
I saw your expression. You're like,
yeah.
Yes, glance.
What's it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude. Yeah, no, it's been wild.
Crazy, everything.
Yeah.
So I've shot you a bunch of messages, obviously, things I want to talk about. But biotech is crazy. You let me know an article that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
I know technology is there, but we'll talk on that. And fucking North Korea is going crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I didn't say they're going crazy. Maybe they're going less crazy. Maybe that's a better way to put that, right?
Yeah, I mean everything's kind of leveling out. Which
Yeah,
is
I'm
nice.
like, what?
They're at the table.
Man,
I'll take
what
that.
What the hell is this? Toronto,
Yeah,
the Waffle House thing. The politics is going through the freaking roof with everything, dude. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it becomes like symbolism after a while because Toronto's turning like into a social symbol, and then the Waffle House is turning into like this total political symbol.
it is. And they were like, when it first went off, it's like, Young Street. I'm like, Young Street. Because I know there's a lot of cities I've been in here in the U.S., Young Street. And I didn't know because I missed the first few minutes of it where they said Toronto and Canadian. I never heard that.
Oh, I see.
So I'm listening. I'm listening to this live feed for,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'll say 10 or 15 minutes. I have no idea. And I'm not necessarily listening to the story because I'm trying to figure out what damn Young Street they're talking about.
Yeah.
And they said
Is it here in
Toronto.
Houston? Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. Because when we went to, my wife and I went to Toronto, we were at the hotel that was just barely north of where all this went on. So I walked up into that street, so I'm familiar with it.
Yeah.
And this is before I was home for videos or any of that kind of stuff. So I could visualize what they were talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, it was years ago, so I'm sure a few things changed, but generally speaking, and before any of it, what was the what was it? The term that the guy used?
Incel. Yeah. So involuntary celibate. And
you got it. I wish
oh god
for the audio side, I wish expressions could go through audio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, this dude, whatever. We don't know the whole story.
Yeah.
He was clearly felt like he wasn't wanted by women, wasn't touched enough by women, I guess.
Yeah, not enough attention is what they stated.
And then he's going to go and throw some hate around and rent a van to drive over women.
Specifically just women, too.
He apparently, we'll just take it for face value.
Yeah.
When he was swerving on and off of the sidewalks, it was to miss men.
Yeah. And that mentally is just too far.
I'm just like, what the dude?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And that, and reading some of these posts and stuff the last couple of days and all that, it's just like, speculation. I don't know 100% sure, but I'm pretty damn confident you can find a hooker for cheaper than that.
Yeah.
The van rental.
I don't know personally, but I'm sure
stuff,
you can.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know how much a van rental is. I don't know what van to use. I don't know any of that kind of stuff. So if it was like a $10 van, okay, I'm pretty sure you can't find a prostitute for $10.
Yeah.
But legal fees and the rest of your life in jail.
Yeah, which is true.
Come up with a few $100.
Should have taken the better option there.
Right? You were like, so is this like a real thing? Apparently he was on some group.
Apparently.
Some social media group. Yeah,
so I saw that, and apparently he, on his Facebook, was praising somebody who had done kind of a similar thing, going out and assaulting women in a different city. And that was
different country too. I remember
country.
They showed the picture of the guy he was that he had glorified.
Yeah.
But I don't know where.
And so, but I guess it is a real thing. And then we have to understand, like, how big is it? Because that seems kind of extreme.
involuntarily celibate.
Yeah. That bit doesn't make sense to me.
Right. Well, because isn't celibacy a choice anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right? So you're like, okay, well, I'm choosing to be celibate.
Yeah. And you can't blame it on somebody else. It's your decision to make, right?
Right.
You can't take that away from you and place it on other people.
So you're making a choice not to pursue anyone on an intimate level.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how are you involuntarily put into that situation? Right?
Yeah.
And maybe you could say, if you're straight and you get put into prison, maybe that would be involuntary celibacy because. Does that make sense?
Maybe, but we'll see.
Because you clearly have no options, right? And sorry, I don't know what the heck is going on with this thing.
But so I think
technology went on the blitz for a second.
Yeah, I think that was the justification that he had, was that other women wouldn't approach him or give him that sort of attention, and then you have to think, okay, this person's putting himself into isolation because then his values tell him that, okay, he needs to worry about this. He needs to worry about female attention or attraction or whatever the case is.
And I'll say this. I'll say from a psychological standpoint, agree with it or not, teenage boys that have a decent amount of sexual experiences or some level of intimacy and touching from whoever it is that they are sexually attracted to.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't want to get into all that right now. Crap.
Different topic.
Right. So if a boy likes girls and he's a teenage boy, if you take two of them that are twins, one twin is intimately touched and interacts with women, and the other one doesn't, the one that does is going to wind up being a better mentally stable man. We already know this. Right?
Okay.
That's already not proven in that way. I'm simplifying it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously don't kill me for that, people listening and stuff that hate.
And that's basically they have like equal values and equal metrics for those values.
Yeah. And that's why I say, twins. So as they get older, the one who had that interaction as a teenager is going to associate better at work, associate better in public, have more friends. I don't want to say more friends, but more quality relationships.
Yeah.
Than the one who wasn't touched or had the intimacy, even psychological intimacy and conversational intimacy with people they find who they are sexually attracted to.
Yeah.
Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. So, and again, we're playing on this one that it's teenage boys liking teenage girls.
Yeah.
That's how we're playing this one out, and you can plug and play.
Yeah, do whatever.
You want. Right.
The system works. It's a pattern.
If I get it, if those teenage boys don't get attention and they feel shunned by the girls, in this case, it can create problems. It can.
No, well, obviously it can.
Those problems shouldn't manifest into renting a damn van and going running over people.
Yeah, but that's kind of what it comes down to, because we're at, they said, 10 dead now, and so...
Yeah, 10 dead and another 16 or 15 or something in critical condition or something like that. And
yeah, so this guy's just racking up charges right now.
Ooh.
But...
he officially has 10 counts of man one, the way we would categorize it. I don't know how they categorize it in Canada. I just went blank as I was saying that, but manslaughter with intent, death with intent, murder with intent, murder one. So and then there's another X number of counts of attempted murder or attempted manslaughter. I don't remember how they categorize it.
I think it's attempted murder at this point. Murder, yeah. Because if he's associating with that group and doing all that and swerving,
crap. What?
So, but I mean, I think that comes into values, and I think, there's, to a certain extent, you can adjust those values, or at least the metrics for those values, to make yourself to make yourself happy,
right?
Opposed to, this is the way it has to be, and this is the way that society makes it, and so if it doesn't work for me, then I gotta go hit people.
Right. And why do women have to approach him?
Yeah.
Why do women have to seek him out? Like, that's not traditionally.
Well, but exactly.
I don't know. This is I like this part because we have a pretty good age gap.
Yeah.
So, in my youthful era, back alongside the dinosaurs, women didn't typically approach men.
Yeah. No.
Right. The guy, like, you might get a look or kind of, the little smirk or a little giggle, like all that kind of stereotypical BS. You'd get things like that, so you had a general idea that they may be interested.
Yeah.
I mean, they are. They could just think you're funny and cool because all those existed. But then it was up to the boy or the man to go talk to the girl.
Yeah, to make first engagement.
Right.
Yeah. So we don't have that anymore. Actually, So have you heard of Bumble?
No.
So Bumble is an app. So it's a lot like Tinder.
Crap. Okay.
Right? You know, you do the swipe left, swipe right business. But if you both match, the man is not allowed to make first engagement. The female has to make or respectfully, however, you know, it's set up. You know, the other person has to make first engagement. In the case of you know, a man attracted to a woman or a woman attracted to a man, the female has to make first engagement. So you physically can't, and I've tested it.
Yeah.
You physically can't send a message. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous as that was.
Okay.
And I'm sure it's for, you know, harassment purposes and whatever, and or if you know, if everybody's just blaring through, you know, because I've seen that a lot too. All my buddies, oh yeah, no, this girl's awesome. Oh, I don't care what that person looks like. Okay.
Because again, young and testosterone.
Yeah,
and things,
exactly.
You know,
And so, and then out like one-on-one, I've seen a lot more females making first engagement with males, which for me, I was raised by my grandparents and by my parents, and so that seems strange to me. Yeah. But then it happens pretty consistently now, and so it's just something that we're acclimating to.
I don't think it's wrong for a woman to approach a man.
No, not at all.
It just wasn't common.
Yeah.
It wasn't commonplace. Not that it was right or wrong either way, but there was when I was younger, there was a very clear order to it.
Yeah, exactly. Because myself, I'm absolutely clueless. Like I'll be sitting at the gym and just training and training and training. I'll look at somebody and they'll smile at me, and I'll just go back to training and training and training. And it comes a couple of months later, I befriend that person. They say, "I used to like you." I'm like, I didn't know that.
Huh? And I know, and this is, you know, Steph gets on my ass all the time for this kind of stuff. I'm a master observationist. Yeah, I like to observe everything. So I don't. Sounds weird, but this is very true. I don't necessarily at the gym. Speaking of the gym, I don't see faces. I see people doing stuff, and I see body pattern movements. And I'm like, and I look and I'll watch. I'm like, what are they doing? I'm like, okay, well, why are they doing that? And then I'm like, I assess what their body type is and how they're moving, what they're doing, and I try to learn from that. Yeah. And then reverse engineer it and figure out what they're doing. Yeah. Because I've seen some crazy, stupid stuff that I'm like, later I'm kind of like, it's crazy stupid, but I get why they're doing that because I saw them out at the park doing some sort of sport or activity or something else that makes sense. Yeah. You know, and so I watch, and then I know that people whoever I'm watching will look at me, and I'm not looking at their head. I'm watching what they're doing. Look at
the rest of them.
Seriously, you know, and it's like this is, and then
how impersonal is that? God.
And I know there's got to be, you know, several women and several gay men and whatever or the guy people, whatever the hell, put it all together. They're gonna be like, that dude's creepy. Yeah. I'm like,
I didn't want to say it.
Cool, whatever. I'm watching biomechanics, man. I'm like, this is really the end of it. Yeah. So, but the reason I said it is I get it. You know, with you, like.
No,
you know,
yeah. I mean,
I'm clueless.
Because when I'm training, I'll notice, you know, out of peripherals, you'll see people like doing and interacting and things like that, and then you know, occasionally you'll see the person just standing watching you, and then you look up, you know, just to analyze, you know, because you have a radar in your head that you know. Is there a friend? Is there a foe? You know, you just pick up on the little body actions, and you look over. It's nobody. Go back to what you're doing, right? Yeah. But that was way off topic. But
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like it's there, but
you know, it was observation. But it goes back to that whole point: is that you know, that this guy, I'm avoiding names because I'm one of those that I'm like, don't put their picture up, don't put their name up, don't glorify it, don't let anybody know who it is.
Exactly. It just has to be an incident, and then we have to adjust and move.
That's kind of so. I'm intentionally not saying names and all that kind of.
I see. Okay.
But to me, it's silly for this guy to think that women are required. Yeah. Because that's kind of the feel I get from it. To approach him and ask him if he wants to go on a date or get coffee or whatever. You know,
exactly.
Movie, whatever it is, you know.
Or even, I mean, so what I could see is like if he asks and then continuously gets rejected, you know, I could see how that would be an issue.
Yeah, I could see him having hesitation and some good,
but then that becomes values, right? So that becomes, you know, how much does he value it? Right. And then, you know, do you want to, or is there like a total end game to the relationship, or do you just want that person there? Because you can make friends. You don't have to be an attractive person to make friends. You have to be generally somewhat sane. Yes. But, I mean, you don't have to. Yeah.
Clearly, this dude has some sort of psychological problem that is deep stemmed and goes way back before this driving incident.
And so that, I think that's what we're going to have to start looking at moving forward.
Wow. So how's it in the schools? Like at school level? So like high school level, even college level at this point, how is the dating scene? Is it really kind of, there is no rules? Somebody may go to somebody, Like, does that make sense?
It's
anybody approaches anybody for anything. Is it a free for all like that, or is it?
It kind of has become that, and it's really, for me personally, I never liked it because I like taking my time and analyzing somebody and saying, okay, is this somebody who I'm compatible with?
Yeah.
And so what I teach younger kids, and now my younger kids are older. A few of my old students are in college now, and it makes me feel dated. They call me old man and all that. But yeah, I'm at that level right now, and I'm like, okay, yeah. But so what ends up happening is it kind of becomes this free for all because of all the independence that we allow kids to have nowadays, and these gender borders are kind of breaking up. I mean, it is not uncommon for a female to approach a male, or for a male to approach a female, or whatever situation occurs. And so I mean, to an extent, it is very freeing. For it's a lot of power for these people to have, which is nice, which is good. But then it also kind of blurs my lines because of the way I was raised. I was raised, be a gentleman and do all of do the things that are required. Like a first date is simply a first date to get to know the person, to prod for questions and find personalities and see compatibility and chemistry. Whereas a first date, for a lot of my previous students is now just, well, how far can I go?
So first date is an attempt to hook up.
Exactly. And that's
which screws everything up because you have the Me Too movement and all that other kind of stuff. So it's like,
yes,
this is serious. This is right. So so take whatever, they're two kids, 18, 19 years old, whatever, 18 to 20, take them, right there. So they're adults, but they're really young adults. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
A girl approaches a guy at a bar, right? Bar, social setting. Don't even say bar. Any public social setting. The girl comes up to the guy, effectively is pursuing the guy.
Yeah.
So they go grab coffee. Girl invites guy to house, apartment, condo, townhouse, whatever.
Yeah.
He tries to have sex with her.
Yeah. That's so.
Is that sexual assault? Because now we haven't gotten to a yes or no yet. Does that suggest consent to an attempt?
No, absolutely not.
Well, let me say, does all of her things? Because remember, she came up to him.
I get
she
how.
Invited him.
Yeah, I get how it compounds.
Yeah.
But until both have come to an agreement, however you want to, if you guys want to sit there like robots and say, I would like intercourse, and the other one says, I would like intercourse.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
But yeah, if they can both come to an agreement and be absolutely sure on the situation, then no. But if there's a shadow of a doubt,
right,
the answer is no.
Up to so let's take that same scenario.
Yeah.
She approaches him. She asks him to get a bite to eat. She asks him into her house.
Yeah.
And they're there, and everything's going great. Great conversation, great everything. Again, no discussion about sex, no discussion about anything like that. And then he makes that move, right?
Yeah.
Is it again? Now we haven't got anywhere. And so my question, but don't answer this yet. Is the attempt?
Oh. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Sexual assault. Now remember, she hasn't said no yet.
No.
So is the attempt sexual assault, even if she didn't want it? She should have to express that first, right? So if he attempts, right? Follow me.
Yeah, follow me. I get what you're saying.
They're kissing. There's a little bit of foreplay going on.
Yeah.
No, there's not any kind of no.
Yeah.
No push away. There's no anything. There's no at this point.
Okay.
He goes one step further. Whatever. Tries to unbutton a blouse, unsnap a bra.
Yeah. Whatever the case is.
One step beyond just a little bit of basic foreplay, right? Then she says no. And he stops.
No, I don't believe that would be sexual assault. No, not at all.
Okay.
Because I mean, you have to. I don't want to.
No, and
the way I'm gonna say it is gonna sound really, really bad, but you have to be able to find and observe a boundary, right?
Yes.
Because in anything that you do, you don't know what you're doing until you hit that limit, right? And so it's the same with laws and stuff. Laws are there so we know our boundaries, and we can hit that, and then, okay, well, that's as far as we're going with this, and then let's proceed back. Same thing in that sort of situation. You know, you'll go up until what you're comfortable with and what she's comfortable with, and once you push past that and find that boundary, then you have to say, oh, okay, this is where we are. You know,
when somebody says no.
Exactly, yeah. Right. When no comes out, or when a push away comes out, when the person becomes uncomfortable, that's the line.
Right.
Like, and we have to be able to understand that, and I think that becomes just socializing well.
So some states and jurisdictions, sexual assault is the same as assault, physical assault.
Yeah.
In the sense that any unwanted sexual contact is an assault. Is that way too far?
I could see why they would make it that way, but I think they would have to be more specific about that.
That's what I'm saying. Because literally, like, if you go through and you grab some girl's ass randomly in a hallway,
like,
okay,
come on.
could get the word assault is way too much for me, but I understand that it was unwarranted.
Exactly.
You don't know even if you kind of know the person, it's clearly not the place or time or anything. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's inappropriate, right? So that I can understand.
Yeah.
But in that scenario, because it plays on both, and like I've read up on a bunch of cases and stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, California is one of the worst. Shocking.
Yeah,
right. Woo-hoo, but that guys are actually having to register sex offenders now because of that scenario I played out to you.
Really?
Yeah. And there was never anything, because this is my deal with it, is that if a woman does that, I'm going to assume, which they say the assumption is where the problem is.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make an assumption that woman is interested in me.
Yeah.
More so than just being like a hey buddy pal friend.
Yeah. More than like the friendly relationship. Right. More intimate.
Why would a stranger come up to me? Now I wouldn't try to have sex with her anyway an hour later, but still.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
exactly.
But the point is that I'm going to assume that they're interested because they approached me. They asked me to go out there. They asked me into their home. They asked all these things. So it's kind of.
Yeah, I mean, that I would agree with, because you do have to, falls back to the limits thing, right? But I mean, if all of these interactions compound, it starts to make kind of a bigger picture. But if that's what I don't want to say, if that's what the other party wants, you know, is just that point, then fine, be comfortable with that, right? And I completely understand. You know, just being comfortable with getting to a certain point, and then, I know you want to go past it, but there is a limit to things. There is, you know, you do have to be able to say, okay, well, if both parties aren't comfortable, if whatever the situation is, then pull away. And can I make a quick disclaimer?
I know it's bad in today's day and age.
So,
yes.
So when I said how a lot of kids do interact that way now, and, you know, a lot of people don't look for, you know, certain things on a first date, that's kind of what I've seen through majorities. I have seen a lot of kids in my day and age do the old-fashioned way, right? It's safe. Which is nice.
What you said is safe to say based on the stats and data that's out there.
Yeah.
So it's supported.
And so.
Yeah. So you're not crazy by saying that. You know.
Yeah.
And that's just one of those. I'm just like, so me is that in situations like that, I would like to see women. I'm cool. Let's take that exact same scenario. So we stay on the same page. I'm perfectly okay with that woman or girl doing that with that boy all the way through that entire deal. Yeah. Obviously not pressing charges, but all the way to the point of no. Where I think women could do better, right? Because it's everybody's responsibility. The guy's just going along with it. Unless he has signs, is maybe at dinner before the invite to home or during the invite to her home, like something along those lines, like I really like you, I'm interested in you. Let's go back and talk. And really, I just want to talk. I want to get to know you better. Yeah. But I just want a more of a private or intimate setting or whatever it is whatever terminology you use. Yeah. So you almost create that barrier with a guy. Yeah. So he knows going over there's a 99.999% chance that sex is not going to happen. Yeah. Yeah. And you don't even want to say 100% because they may get there and talk for 3, 4, 5 hours, which isn't unheard of.
Yeah, exactly. And then
one thing leads to another and they're both happy as could be. You know,
which I mean that I agree with. You know, communication, but I think for me, communication's always been something I'm really big on. Yeah. Because always, my first, second, even off to third dates, is generally just talking, communicating, seeing how people interact and seeing how people behave in certain situations. So we might go out to dinner one day, we might go out to the park one day, just to get to know the person, and then beyond that, okay, then we can talk about like intimate relationships. And then that being said, there's a time and place for everything, and so intimate relationships might be sporadic depending on the situation.
So kind of turning back to the Toronto thing. There ain't much more on that. I mean, obviously I like to joke because of the whole, involuntarily celibate thing. That's silly as shit to me. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people are dead. I don't want to make light of that. Again, I'll get hate, we'll get all the hate for that.
Yeah.
But I do, it's a bad situation, and it goes back to, we can tie this in because I want to hit the Waffle House still too, for over a little bit. But we can tie that into that in the sense that the tool very seldom is the tool the problem. So this one, the tool was the van.
Yes.
The van was the tool.
Yeah.
You can't go. Let's just call it was a Chevy van. I don't know what
whatever
van it was.
Sorry, Chevy.
You can't go after Chevy or Ford or whomever who made the van. It's not their fault for making a fucking van that works.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. It's
not the gas company, so you can't go after whatever Citgo or Shell or whoever the hell, you can go BP, whatever, because they made gas to help the truck move, right?
Yeah.
You can't go get Firestone for making the tires unless the tires failed. Like the SUVs,
yeah, which is true. Yeah,
but anyways,
but
you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't. So really, like, okay, it's the driver.
Yeah,
the driver had a psychological issue or something, temporary, permanent, old living, whatever. So the driver is the problem.
Yeah,
not the vehicle or the people who made the gas or people who made the tires or the people who made the seats or the people who made. Those are not right. I mean, I think it's safe to say.
Because I mean, well, yeah, the vehicle is a tool.
Right.
Right. How you decide to use the tool, whether you decide to use it for its intended purposes, which is transportation, or decide to weaponize it, is just this constant battle that we have to fight with ourselves. Right.
Yeah.
And we do it with everything.
And so in this, and obviously, guys and girls and everyone, we're going to be, you got to, I don't know, gender fluidity and all. I don't know who to address anymore.
Good save. Yeah.
Right. I'm just like,
solid
whatever.
move. Yeah.
All the peoples, and people who are temporarily animals, and we'll come back.
There you go.
We've got them all covered. We're going to touch on the gun stuff, so I know people are going to get sensitive and things of that nature. I get it, right? But I want something super interesting to me as we transition to the Waffle House thing. Mm-hmm. I may have said this to you before. This is the first year, which really 2017, the year that ended, that London has surpassed New York City in the number of murders.
Really?
And those murders happened via knife.
Really?
Because guns are banned in London and the whole thing, right?
Pretty strict, yeah.
Yeah, so it's even a lot of the bobbies don't carry guns. It's the sticks and batons and various other things that they have. So it's like at that level.
Okay, so what you're saying is for London we have to start banning knives.
Well, the mayor did.
Oh.
And it's funny, it's not fun. It's not the death's not fun, but it's ironically humorous to me.
Yeah.
That the verbiage that is being used about knives is the exact verbiage that's being used about guns here. Why do you need this kind of a knife? Why do you need a knife with a point on the end of it? Why can't you have this type of a knife?
Oh, like a blunt knife?
Yeah. Why would you ever need to carry a knife? I
don't know.
Knives were designed to kill. Why would you ever need to carry something that's designed to kill?
Knives weren't designed to kill. No, but no, you're right. I see what you're saying.
They're an amazing tool for all kinds of reasons.
Yeah.
They turn into screwdrivers often.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because then you walk into a prison, all knives are banned.
Right.
But then
people
you
are getting shanked left and right.
And toothbrushes. I mean, for what it's worth.
Man.
Because I can take a butter knife. I can take it to an angle grinder and I can make it pointed.
Yeah. Have you seen the video where the guy takes the roll of aluminum foil, smashes it all down, and uses I think I want to say uses a candle lighter, but not even a fancy lighter to help heat it. Yeah. And just a little piece of he hammers it out.
Yeah.
And does the whole thing, and he makes a full-on knife, fully functional blade.
Really?
Yeah. That's cool. You got to watch it. It's a YouTube. It's like 10-minute long video. So I fast forward to the pertinent parts.
Well, that sounds like the same situation. So if let's say we banned all knives,
right?
We're only allowed to have butter knives, right? It would be kind of that situation, or you sharpen the knife. Same situation as if we ban all guns.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, people are still going to have knives from prior, but you can still make guns.
3D print them.
You can 3D print them. You can make a zip gun out of PVC.
Yeah.
We tried that once. I tried that in my garage, and I was like, oh, this is horrible. As soon as I made it, I was like, nope, dismantling this, and I'm going to throw that away.
I mean, people do it out of wood.
Yeah.
You know, you can get a single and sometimes a 2-shot out of wood.
Yeah. I mean, all you need is a steel pipe or a PVC pipe if it's thick enough, right? And it can contain an explosion and create a gun. And so, I mean, that's where we're at. And then you say, okay, well, then we're going to get rid of black powder and gunpowder. Okay, well, there are chemists here. We can make propellants, right? And then you see that with the spud gun, the potato cannon, or whatever the case is you can make a propellant that would blast a hole through a window with a potato.
Right.
You know, you create that potato, turn it into a small, dense metal ball. Then we're back to muskets, right? And black powder is not especially difficult to make.
No, it isn't. And clearly it isn't. You know, I mean, that's not something. Yeah. So that's unrealistic. But so that was kind of the point, is that, you know, London and New York City.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Basically similar populations, similar no, you know, so it's just a straightforward number to number. And
yeah, so we'll be able to see, like, okay, so this is what's going to happen.
Yeah. So banning guns doesn't necessarily stop
violence.
Murder.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm not taking violent crime. I'm not taking beatings. I'm not taking, the big thing over there is acid in the face. We're not taking things like that. We were talking. So I'm just murder to murder. That's it. We're not talking about any other stats, so people know that when they start hating on me later.
Yeah.
For all that. But the Waffle House thing.
Yeah. No.
The most amazing thing, other than him doing this naked. I don't understand the nude part. I really don't understand. Like, I'm like, please don't let this dude die. I want to understand why the naked part.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And they may have said something by now, but I'm like, nude? Really? You're going to go shoot up a Waffle House nude?
Those shells come out of that thing pretty hot. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. And they fly, you know, every which way every once in a while.
I mean, I'm saying, you know, like, even like at the range and stuff, I've got little melt spots on my lenses on a couple things where, you know, they kind of hit and sit a little bit before it falls. Ding, you know. Anyway,
so
I'm like,
no, that's incredible. I mean, to be able to do something like that, and then to be at that mental point. So, okay, fair enough point to this. I've actually seen when you have like that sort of that breakdown, because there is a point, and you'll just hit that like overflow, and you know, it spills out, and just where all the kind of aggression and whatever hostility comes out. Yeah. It is actually a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
And I can understand, you know, why there are pleas for insanity, but there has to still be some form of punishment for this, so people can start to understand, well, if I do this and get away with it, I'm free. If I do this and I'm punished for it, well, then I have to also handle the punishment.
Right.
But I think the naked thing is just, once you hit that actual that episode or whatever you want to call it, it's just all bets are off. You're going to do whatever pops into your head.
that one is, you know, and I'm not trying to make a joke of the whole thing, but that I'm like, nude?
Yeah, no, that's
we had boots and a jacket on.
Really?
Apparently, I mean, and I don't know 100%, but that's what I've read in a couple of the reports.
Maybe he was doing like flashing beforehand.
That's why I'm like, you know, what's that? You know,
because that used to be a big thing here in Houston, was flashers. Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'm cool with flashers. It's funny, dude.
Yeah, I mean, flashers are cool. You know, every once in a while. Okay, reality check. Thank you. I needed that.
Like,
you can go back into what you're doing. Yeah.
Thank you, please. That's, buddy, come on, man. You know, that type of deal. But so in the whole thing, I mean, because we obviously pretty much everybody knows that, you know, we had the unarmed guy.
Yeah.
Defuse the situation.
Yeah.
You know, and get the shooter to flee. Which was a great thing, you know.
No, absolutely.
Some people are like, oh, it's heroic, and some people are not heroic, and this and that. Great. My perception on him specifically is I wish he had a gun.
Yeah.
Because if that guy specifically had a gun, he would have either shot or fired and deterred this before it got to the number of deaths it got to.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah.
If he was in a position to charge somebody with a rifle, he's definitely in a position to fire a gun at them. And it's much safer.
Yeah,
and more efficient for this guy to have fired on the suspect. Do we say suspect? The murderer, whatever.
Murderer, yeah.
I mean, clearly we know it was him.
Yeah.
Didn't tend to jump around like that, and then so obviously that goes into a bunch of the debate.
Yeah, which is true.
Well, then you're just giving more guns. I'm like, I cannot see a reason that any law-abiding citizen shouldn't be able to own a firearm.
No, I mean,
if they choose to do now.
Okay, yes, law-abiding citizen. Yeah, yes, absolutely agree.
Law-abiding citizen, and now there's things like I'm all for more training. I'm all for the background checks, as they're written, are good. Mm-hmm. The problem is how several institutions and states share that information to the national system.
Okay, so like overall execution.
Right, the rules are right, but all the people aren't putting the information in correctly.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
If you've got issues here in Texas, you could cross over to Louisiana and you might be okay. You could pass the NICS. You could pass the background check. Now, you still got to be – there's other things. There's other obstacles to get over.
Okay, but
point being is that not every state shares with every other state.
I see.
Not share with the states, share to the national system, the NICS system.
Yeah, yeah.
And so there's problem, and I'm all for that. I'm all for additional training, and I think that people should have proficiency. I think people are like, oh, waiting periods, this, that, and da-da, you need to be trained. I think you should be able to, if you feel like there's an imminent threat.
Yeah.
That there's an imminent threat, and the wherever that imminent threat's coming from is either more physically apt than I am or whatever,
Yeah.
That they could come in and actually cause harm or kill me physically.
Yeah.
And if I believe they may have a weapon, I should be able to go in, if I'm a law-abiding citizen, and purchase a firearm and leave with a firearm. Now, I think they should have to go through an hour or two training right there, learn how to take it apart, learn how to fire it, go shoot 10, 15, 20 rounds in the...
Yeah, just to get comfortable with it.
Like, understand and handle it, not just like, there you go, thank you,
yeah,
see
bye,
you.
have a good day.
I don't, because to me, that's and sometimes more dangerous than them just having no weapon.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm realistic. So I don't want people to think, because I'm massive pro-gun.
Yeah.
But I'm realistic with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to give a 16-year-old keys to a car and say, bye-bye, have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Go through some training. I think they need more training, but whatever. Go, all that kind of stuff. So with my massively way too long disclaimer out there, and I did write a little note about it, about some training things, so it's on my little Facebook page, and people can go read that, and talks about amount of training per type of weapon, handguns to rifles to even automatics to all these other things, and why, and the whole thing. It's there, and I've got a lot of good feedback on it.
Okay, nice.
Very little hate.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
Shocking. But
weird
anyway,
when you take a middle ground and use reason.
Right, like it's just like, hey, I understand this, that, and but anyway. So with the Waffle House dude, had his weapons confiscated, and he was deemed unable to own firearms in the United States.
I think that is
good move. He got busted trying to get a meeting with the president.
Oh, really?
That's basically Secret Service, right?
Yeah.
So he showed up at I don't know where. I'm going to say White House. I don't know if it was in a restricted area. I'm just saying White House, and I didn't know if I read that. But Secret Service was basically like, what the fuck you doing? He's like, I'm demanding a meeting with the president. So, no, he didn't get the meeting, and he got his weapons confiscated, so he's clearly deemed a threat.
Yeah.
And then he's deemed unable to purchase purchase and own firearms in the U.S.
Yeah.
Good move.
Yes, that I agree with.
Got him.
Absolutely.
Love it. I'm there.
And so, good execution on that end, but the follow-through
then they
not well.
Give the guns to his dad.
Yeah. And
why?
I could understand the situation of not wanting to deal with like a property liability, but at that point, it's better to reimburse the father for whatever the cost, or reimburse the man even for whatever the cost of the firearms are, and then just wash your hands of the situation and be done.
I don't know this. The only excuse I could possibly give any level of law enforcement that gave the guns back would be, did his dad actually purchase and own those firearms?
Oh,
I don't know that,
and
I really don't know that part of the story. And I mean, I kind of looked for it, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
because they were like, well, his guns. They gave his guns to dad.
Yeah,
and I'm like, well, were they his just because they were in his possession?
Yeah, yeah.
So like, if dad actually bought them and had receipts, and here, because like I've got receipts for my farms, and so if something comes up and those are mine. Here's my receipts. Here's where I signed you paid for my credit card. And
the serial number, the whole nine.
So I could prove that I purchased them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so in that instance, I could kind of get it. But then he gave the firearms back to the kid.
And I think that's the bad follow through. Right? Because I'm like, either they told him he's not allowed to have guns anymore, and the father just completely wrote that off.
Yeah.
Or they didn't tell the father at all. And he's like, okay, well, here are the guns back. Do whatever you want with them. Bye. Right. And they should kind of figure at that point if this shooter is at this level already and he's already deemed a threat, understand that he might not be controlled in that home environment. Right. And I don't want to talk smack to the dad until we know the whole situation, but still, this is kind of one of those things that you have to be able to analyze and say, well, is this a good idea or a bad idea?
And that's what I'm saying. So if one of my sons at teenage level or older goes with his or my firearm, whose firearm
any gun really,
to the White House, is like, let me meet the president. I'm gonna treat the whole atmosphere a little differently.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree.
As a responsible citizen, I'm gonna treat that very differently. And if they give me the firearms back, if they were his or mine or some Joe down the street, little Johnny ain't gonna have access to those.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I might get in trouble for locking Johnny down in his closet for a while. It's like,
exactly.
Look, Johnny, it's a bright white room with lots of padding.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just kind of like, and then that's massive failure by the system, I think, because again, if Dad bought the firearms, they're effectively returning stolen property.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if that's the case, and I don't know if that's the case. If that's the case, you can't really get too mad at him because you can't restrict Dad's ownership of firearms because someone else did something.
Yeah.
You can't. That's illegal. That's a violation of his rights and so on and so forth, right?
But I think there should be limitations. So as in that sense, if he is going to be in the household with him where the shooter has access to the firearms, that shouldn't be allowed whatsoever.
Yeah.
So if the dad has to have like
an extra safe or an
extra safe with a biolock or whatever the case is to keep it safer than apparently it was, well, then we have to take those measures, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And it might have to come down to focusing on individual people opposed to just putting a law out there and saying, okay, this is just what we're going to enforce now.
Yeah.
And then we'll try to enforce it, but because of all these people, it's really hard.
And it's hard.
Right?
And that's where like enforcement and situations like that are really difficult as hell because, again, Dad didn't break the law.
No, yeah, exactly.
Dad has the right to own firearms. So are we getting in to say the federal government's going to require you to store them a certain way? Does that make sense? Because then, like for me
personally,
like I'm lock, load, and ready, dude.
Yeah.
And if I'm forced by the federal government to keep my gun here, keep ammunition here,
that's true. Yeah.
And somebody breaks into my house.
Well, okay, let me scurry around for this.
Hold up,
this.
Dude, the government says I've got to do this, this, and this. I'm going to be violating the law every day, all day.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be prepared to defend myself and my family and things of that nature. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Which is not the only reason for the Second Amendment, damn it. I'm just using home defense because we're talking about storing things in home.
Yeah, yeah.
So then, I'm like, so crap's on enforcement. You're like, is the federal government going to come in and say, well, this person that visits your house more than 3 times a year is a threat. So now, because they visit your house more than 3 times a year, you have to maintain your firearms in a different way than everybody else. Hold on now.
No, that I wouldn't agree with. I think that there should be a standard maintenance for firearms, as in, because we see it in Japan has very, very strict firearm laws, where if you are a registered firearm owner, they will come and check on you.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, see how you're maintaining your firearms, how you're storing them and all that. But I think here in the U.S., to make sure that we're not defying the Constitution and our right to own firearms, I think people should be allowed to have their primary weapon, whether it be a handgun or whatever the case is, available to them whenever they want.
Yeah.
But if you have recreational guns or if you have other guns that are just not not being used on a day-to-day basis,
and not that aren't there for defense. That truly,
exactly,
yeah.
Then obviously keep them stored.
Yeah,
but we live in the South. We live in Texas. I for the longest time had a firearm, over the fireplace. My
fireplace firearm. What
exactly right?
No,
and it's for the longest time. But I mean, it comes to that point that you have to start to realize that things do change, and we're not going to change the law of the land because of that.
Right.
But we have to make adjustments in the way that we do things.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's being safe and proper and appropriate.
Exactly.
And that's in my opinion, that's different household to household.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Because if you live by yourself in a house, who cares?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Who's going to do it?
Personally,
really,
I don't care.
Lay them out everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But then, if there's kids and stuff like that, maybe, they're at a different elevation. Or
exactly.
You make sure it's on you all the time or whatever it is,
Yeah.
So I think it's absolutely circumstantial and home to home.
No, and that I would agree with. And even when it comes to neighborhood to neighborhood and things like that, whether or not you live in a good or bad place, whether break-ins are a big thing. Because I remember it was both my grandparents. Well, no, okay. Well, yeah, they lived together. Both my grandparents, on my father's side, had these beautiful. It was a 8-gauge Damascus barrel underover shotgun, and we had a 50 caliber that he made himself. Grandfather's hunting rifles and my great grandfather's hunting rifles, all got stolen.
Oh,
they were not put up properly, not put up in a safe or anything like that. We had a few in the attic, we had a few over the mantelpiece, and all these various things in the closets and whatever. And they got stolen. So the best thing I can say is, that whatever it was, $3,000 shotgun is now being sawed off and used in some other city somewhere for whatever, right? But yeah, so I do think there should be some form of standard for the safety, and especially if you're not having a day-to-day. If you're not having your carry, then I mean, obviously. I always believe.
I'm going to classify that as common sense, although I hate the term common sense now, the way it's been used and thrown around. Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, keep your,
Yeah, keep your stuff safe. Keep your property safe, obviously.
If it's in a safe, it doesn't mean it won't be stolen. It's just a deterrent, and it's harder for people to steal things out of a safe than off of a wall.
Exactly, yeah.
Right?
Opposed to wrapped up in a sheet up in the attic.
Yeah.
They're from Tennessee. I don't know what to tell you. They're great people.
Well, Tennessee is a lot like Texas in many regards. It's still that same type of mentality, and
but our barbecue is better, so
it's different, dude. I like the spice, man. Y'all's just sweeter up there. It's different.
Is cool. No. I'm saying Texas barbecue is better.
No, I'm just saying. It depends. I'm like,
pig is great. Don't get me wrong.
Well,
but when it comes to the beef, you can't beat it.
Texas cattle is special. Cool. But yeah, man. So the Waffle House thing. There's. Let me say it this way. I'm a little bit surprised that the anti-gun movement, rhetoric, voices aren't louder after the Waffle House. They seem quieter than other situations.
Yep. So when I was looking at my resources to research this, I didn't see anything at all about gun control throughout any of the resources that I used. And I thought that was really strange.
Yeah.
Right. And I was using a lot of the mainstream stuff, and I didn't go off into the super left or super right. But yeah, I don't know how that's playing out, and I don't know, and I'm sure
that's what
somebody's going to voice it eventually, and then it's going to start a wildfire. But
the super left. The only thing I've heard is basically, I'm going to sum this up and paraphrase several things into one. Is in this instance of the Waffle House. Oh, look, you don't need a gun to stop a guy with a gun.
Okay.
That's effectively
that's the best they got, really.
Yeah, and that's kind of, but that's it. But and I'm not saying like, oh, that's all you got. I'm not poking at them. I'm just like, I'm surprised that there isn't more for this. And like, maybe because it's not kids.
Oh, well, yeah, maybe.
It wasn't a school.
Mm-hmm. I think that might be it because I mean,
like it.
I'm not gonna. So right. I was about to get in so much trouble for. So yeah, I think it might be because it isn't a school, but I think they might be waiting for the next big mass shooting to then blow it all out of proportion.
Yeah.
But this is kind of one of those situations that perfectly applies to what super left is talking.
Yeah, and this one, 4 dead in this one, right?
This is 4 dead. Yeah. So yeah, well, yeah, 4
I
dead.
think it was 4 have died at this point.
Yeah.
In the Waffle House deal, and this, don't kill me for this, but I don't know how many more were injured. I think it was 6 total were shot, 4 died. But I think they're counting the guy who stopped him as being shot because one of the bullets, I think, grazed him.
Yeah. Yeah, I did hear about that. I don't know. I know there's 4 dead, and I know he got grazed. As for the other injured,
and he got burnt real bad from the barrel.
Yeah,
tackled him and that kind of stuff. But
yeah, I guess that's fair too.
Yeesh,
that hurts. That always hurts.
Yeah, that's not fun. Yeah,
but that's some incredible reaction time to be able to say, "Oh, okay, gun jammed," or he's reloading.
Yeah,
approach.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And that's what I listened to him say a little bit, and he didn't know if he was reloading or it was jammed or whatever. He was just like, now or never.
Yeah, it's time to go.
Boom, got him.
I mean, that's incredible.
That was
impressive. Hats off to him.
Yeah. I wish he would have pounded him and had a little ground and pound on the video. And
he said, "Well, I got him out of the building," and I was like, "Oh man, I would have lit him up."
I'd have been in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, excessive force all day. Like,
yeah.
I am sorry, I did die.
I didn't know you stopped when red. That was inappropriate. I'm sorry. Sorry, but not sorry, but still sorry.
I can't say I wouldn't be with you on that, man. But yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So it was good. They got him.
Yeah.
No one else was hurt after that.
But that was they said a 35-hour manhunt. So apparently, superhero, being the all-merciful person that he is, just let him walk off.
Yeah.
What's the situation? I'm sure it's in those kind of situations where the adrenaline is just coursing through you. You're not thinking about what just happened.
You tackle the guy and he loses his main firearm and runs off and gets in truck and drives away or whatever it was.
Yeah.
You're probably, and a lot of people would be like, whew, I'm safe.
Yeah, exactly. But that's exactly right. And the adrenaline, that fight or flight, it's just towards the threat, and once the threat is gone, okay, well now I'll address the situation,
and then it's a matter of let's address who got shot and what's going on. Get the police out here and this stuff.
Exactly. And if he's already gone by then, he's gone. Yeah. But apparently they said that he had wandered off and they found him in the woods. Yeah,
he had stolen a car a couple days beforehand or something. Okay,
okay, that's what I was wondering.
I guess he switched cars from a truck to the car or something, and then he was.
Oh, so this was. Okay, this was really thought out.
This was planned. Yeah, this was very much planned.
Yikes. That's not good. So that kind of doesn't go.
Waffle House? What Waffle House ever do to anybody, man?
Yeah, I love Waffle House.
I'm just like, there's not that many around anymore. Well, not here in Texas anyway. But I'm just like, what did Waffle House do to anybody?
I actually just went to one the other day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, actually before this whole thing broke out, and I sat there thinking about that. I was like, oh man.
Maybe it was somebody there. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know anything about motive.
Target.
Yeah, I don't know anything about motive or any of that kind of stuff.
Thanks.
I didn't look into it that far.
I'm not looking forward to learning about that, but
I'm curious.
We'll exactly. Curious.
I'm more curious about the doing it nude as opposed to the total motive. But I'm like,
exactly.
Man.
It's like, no, I was just off my rock. Yeah, apparently, you got to fix yourself real quick. So yeah.
Yeah, so it was like. So it's not just for everybody. It's not a huge gun topic there. It's just touching a couple points because of what's going on. Yeah. That obviously it's in there, so we had to throw a couple of disclaimers and all that kind of. Are we ever going to get to a point we don't have to hit the disclaimers? It's just going to get worse, I think.
Yeah, it's just going to get. No, I'm sorry, but apparently I'm the ambassador to the new generation. I'm going to tell you now, it's only going to get worse.
You can't say like, "Oh, welcome, ladies and gentlemen." And ...
Yeah.
It's like, can we just?
Yeah. Hey.
John Hopkins did the first successful penis transplant yesterday. Did you see that?
No.
Well, they announced it yesterday, so obviously the surgery wasn't necessarily to be.
I got way too excited about that. Like, I got to make a tally mark.
So the super short, there's a whole everybody listening. There's a whole slew of things that we want to talk about today, but who cares? This is it just came up because I was thinking the dude doing it nude and burning shells falling on his schlungy and anyway, and then all the gender stuff and so I'm like, oh hey, and I forgot about this. Right? So it was a war vet, a relatively young war vet. I'm gonna say Afghan. I don't remember that part of it, but just whatever. A recent war vet that in an explosion lost his penis.
Oh wow. Okay.
And the testicles, I assume. Yeah. I don't know the part. They focused on the penis part, right? So gone, right? And apparently that was really like the only major issue.
Yeah.
Like other than that, he's healthy, everything's fine of the system. But really, the only damage from whatever it was that what happened was he lost the genitals.
Okay. Well, I mean, thank God for that. Right?
Pretty serious, right?
But
but so he's
all
fine.
All things considered.
And then, so John Hopkins did it. So the interesting part to me was they only gave him a penis, not testicles, because of some debate over if they I'm gonna butcher this, but follow me. If they gave him testicles, those produce semen.
Yeah.
They produce semen based on someone else's genealogy.
Yes.
So if he has a kid,
not his kid.
Whose child is that?
Oh, okay. So they're avoiding this big backlash of. Okay, I see.
And now, the person that he got the penis from is dead. It was an organ donor situation.
Okay.
So I don't know, but they were just like, basically, it's too much of a question. I'm not fucking with it. Congratulations, you got a new penis. We're not giving you balls. I'm like, but.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to get in so much trouble for laughing.
But, no, I'm just like.
I get it. That's the crazy part. It's like, okay, well, I could see in this day and age how that would be extremely, like, controversial.
Right. And I'm like, but you can have a vasectomy and still create semen.
Yeah.
Just there's no sperm. So isn't there a way they could have got around this? Or maybe that was too complicated for the situation. They're just like, we're just not screwing with it. Peace.
Yeah, maybe there was like a Best Buy date to take the penis off the guy.
I was like, what are you doing? I'm like, see, he got it from somebody who's dead. So clearly, if he has sex with somebody after that, and it doesn't wind up being 100% his genealogy, but they're dead. They clearly didn't do it.
Okay, but I could see in later debates it being like, okay, well, we got it from a live donor who just didn't want his testicles anymore, or whatever the case is, and then that stems from this original surgery.
I'm sure there's some liability we're not thinking of tying back to to the donor or their family or their estate.
You just got to talking to him about sex, and I was like, so I wanted to make a joke about necrophilia, but I'm going to avoid that right now. Yeah.
So I was just like, that sounds great. But and the interesting part, so it's successful.
Yeah, okay, good.
Now, this is things I don't know. I don't know if it works for sex. I have no idea. If maybe, does that make sense? But he's got
just sheerly aesthetic.
I have no idea. I really don't know. I didn't read into it that far, right? But what I thought was interesting was, one, the testicle thing. Yeah. I was like, it caught me off guard.
Yeah, why? Yeah.
I just expected the whole thing, right?
Yeah, naturally, right?
Crazy me. But the other one is they said they are absolutely not certifying this, okaying this, licensing this for gender reassignment. So anyone who wants to have a sex change, they are not allowing this.
Okay.
They're not going to be any part of it.
So this is just going to be a strictly incident-based, opposed to
we're going to fix something that was destroyed or lost or gone. We're not going to put something new. Well, I mean, and this is, I'm go way too far into this because it's the way my brain works, but
no, this will be fun. This will be great.
It makes sense because if you take a female that wants to be a man, and you're going to attach a penis, it's you're making up where it's going to be attached. It wasn't there already, so you're not reattaching it to muscles, nerves, tissue. I mean, you kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I get that.
You have to learn how to recreate that, or just suction cup it on.
Right. I mean, because you could surgically attach anything to.
Exactly.
Whatever, feed it with the proper nutrients and things of that nature, and do everything. You'd probably make it stay, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, That's why.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, so I thought that was interesting also that they were just like, nope, not an option, not going to, it's not even open for discussion.
20-foot pole, we're not even going to look at it.
Right.
We're just going to walk away after this.
Right.
Okay.
And so that's the thing. And they said also they're not going to have this be a part of cosmetic.
Yeah.
So somebody who has a little penis, you're not going to get to go get a big one.
Oh,
yeah. I'm like, but so they were like very clear on some of those things.
Yeah,
you know that's where it's going to go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, was that just Hopkins that said that, or is that the entire medical?
I think it was
industry.
No, well, I mean, I'm going to say it was them. I don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
Because it was just all the statements were encompassed with them because they're the only ones that have done it.
Yeah, naturally.
So I'm assuming it was them and their directors and their medical leaders and things of that nature.
Because I think after a while, people are just going to go do it anyway.
Oh, it's just going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the process has been discovered. Right. We got it down. Okay, well.
I mean, it's like telling women they can't get increased breasts anymore.
Yeah.
You can't increase the size of their breasts anymore.
Yeah, we're just gonna go to
no enlargements. Yeah. Oh, okay, they're gonna go do it, right?
See in Brazil, yeah.
Right. So I mean, it's just a matter of time until someone else figures out how to do this.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna publish the paper and they're gonna do all kinds of.
And that's gonna come up next, and then wow, this is great. Well, here
in Brazil and some medical community there is gonna be like one of the doctors that were part of this. Hey, we'll pay you millions and millions of dollars to move down here and teach us.
Show us the process. That's all you have to do.
Of course they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Of course they're going to do it.
It's like millions of bucks.
Right, I'm like, come on. So it's just a matter of time until it hits
That's
everyone.
An interesting way for that thing to move. But
the gender reassignment, though, I don't know that. Right now, I can't visualize how that would be a successful operation.
Yeah, no. I mean, all the organs are different. The
systems are different. The muscles are different. So I'm like, that one, I'm like, I don't know how that would work. Not that it won't.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not that type of a surgeon, so
I can promise you, they will
find
a way.
Yes. Yes.
If there's one thing we're good at as a race, as a species, is finding a way.
Well, because gender reassignment is not cheap.
No.
So if you get someone who can afford that, they're definitely going to be like, no.
Yeah.
We gotta do it this way.
We got this. Yeah. Yikes. Okay. Well, that's.
I had to interject that fun little science bit there.
Yeah, that's a good introduction into the biotech topic.
Well, it's like shit. But and that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the biotech, artificial intelligence. Augmented reality, biotech, all of that. I really clump into one category.
Of just tech.
Yeah. For me,
yeah.
It is inevitable because we've already for years been putting technology into the human body.
Yeah.
It's just gonna freaking explode, man. Because now with all the materials we have and the 3D printing and all this kind of
and all the little things that we get, new developments, and computers are more accurate, more precise, more this, that, and the other, and we can get everything down to almost the nanometer now.
Yes, so, and that's one of the things what you had told me. It's the arm deal.
Yeah,
the precise, or it's not the fake mechanical biotech arm. I don't want to say prosthetic because when most people think of prosthetic, it's a fixed device that's just attached.
Exactly, it's just
functioning, fully functioning,
aesthetic, right? Yeah. And so this was done, and I was watching the video this morning, and I kind of laughed because we went over it yesterday, and the whole thing is a gentleman lost his I want to say right arm,
below the elbow.
Yeah, below the elbow.
Yeah, below the elbow,
in some accident. And then proceeded to get a prosthetic. He was playing the drums with his prosthetic, and then found somebody to give him a bionic arm, right? So what originally it had was just pre-programmed beats in it. So it would hold drumsticks, right? And you had pre-programmed beats where you could just tap, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
And he could get up to something ridiculous like 40 taps per, I think, minute or second or something crazy. And I said, most people can't do that, right? So he's super drummer now.
Yeah.
Right. He went a step further. He started using EMG, using diodes on what was left of the forearm muscles, right, to be able to actually use his arm. So they 3D printed like a nice arm for him with hands, little indexes and all the little pieces that go along with it, so you can activate your fingers. And he used that for a long time, and they found a more efficient way to do it, which is I think where bionics is going to start leading into. It seems a little inefficient right now because when I looked at it, it looked kind of clumpy, bulky.
Yeah.
Is ultrasound.
Yeah.
And that I found was truly incredible because the EMG uses, using electricity running through your muscles, right? Yeah. So it'll pick that up and then bring it up to the arm, activate, right, through the computer, up into the fingers. Ultrasound is doing kind of the exact same thing. It's picking up the movement in the forearm or in the muscle, sending it to the computer to be analyzed, and then sending it back into the hands. But this one is more clear and more efficient.
Yeah, more precise, yeah.
Exactly. So you're not getting the backlash of just muscle twitch and things like that. I'm sure you will to an extent, but it'll be more recognizable. Yeah. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how that progresses. And just ultrasound itself being used for something like that, opposed to what most people.
And that's inevitable because even like in the hospitals when they can do IV, they can flashlight so they can see your veins. And that only goes just past skin level.
Yeah, exactly.
But same thing, dude. It's just insane what's going on with that.
Technology itself, just in the medical field, has been a huge expansion as of late. And late being since.
No shit. And I'm watching 70s, things 80s. Hands. We'll use hands.
Yeah.
So I'm watching different videos in tech where they're teaching people where it's an arm, where they're like hook up all the electrodes to their brain. Yeah. And they're like, think about moving your finger, your index finger. So they move their index finger and they register what that is, and they basically code it to match the brain patterns.
Yeah.
So now that's not perfect, but they're like grabbing things and that's all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they get some level of tactile feeling.
Really?
Which is fucking amazing.
That's incredible.
And the materials and all that stuff, because people that lose limbs, there's all the phantom limbs, and you all they feel it, and it's there, and all this kind of stuff. But it's there. You think it's there, and all these things. So part of the many concepts and theories behind this and hypotheses behind this are that the mind is going to, especially people who deal with that phantom, is going to perfectly accept it. You just have to program it on what it's accepting.
Oh.
So that's where it takes a long time, where you have to sit with whoever's receiving the mechanical arm, the bio arm, and you've got to basically program it. Like, think of this and do it. Think of this and do it. Think of this and do it. So you're registering what it's doing, and then you test it and you tweak it and you test it and you tweak it. So I mean, I'm sure it's a lengthy, painful process, but shit, you get an arm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm just like, holy.
That's
crap.
incredible. That I haven't looked into that yet. But I could see how it would be one of those things, and especially people who get the phantom pains or feel the phantom arm, just to be able to, with that phantom arm, move your hands.
Yeah.
Because it is going to recept in the brain. It is going to push back, but it's just going to stop at a certain point, right? So
it's like the nerves are still trying to talk.
Yeah.
So then you actually connect the nerves, which it's electricity, to the.
We can do it.
Yeah, to the circuitry, to the, so I mean, biotech is, dude, we're there, man. We were so there.
Man.
We were so there. I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. And it's the eyes and things like that. We had the Google glasses for years, and they took those off because they're making it better. And now they've been perfecting the contact lenses. There's just going to be a point in time that they're just going to embed some chip into your eye, and all of your phone and information and everything's going to be all.
That's where I draw the line.
Well, I'm like, wait, like, is that too much? Is it inevitable?
For me,
like,
yes. Once they start surgically implanting things into me, okay, well, I'll take that.
Right, but pacemaker? The implants for hearing, the what I'm saying? Like, all the things, like, so it's like it's
no,
there.
which is true. I can see the pacemaker because you can't take out the pacemaker, right?
Yeah,
you can't take out, and some of the cochlear implants you can't take out, right? The ear bit you can, but that's on a program, right?
Yeah.
You can analyze that, right? Whereas, start implanting things into the brain and it has its own, system and it's on a big network and things like that. That's
the robots will take over.
Exactly. Or somebody mind controls all of a sudden. And
but it's just, I'm like, man, we're there, dude.
Yeah.
We're
right on the cusp, and we're just going to sit there and wait for it to all spill over.
Well, because us as humans, we're idiots. Yeah. And we're like, we've got a little bit of this, so let's put it in 1 million people.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens.
We love that. We love.
Let's
experiment and just see what happens, guys.
Are you serious?
It's like, we did this with so many different experimental drugs. Didn't work.
Yeah. So like it scares me. It's cool as shit, but man, it scares me.
Yeah.
And then you have that whole, all the things like Matrix and Plug In and all these things. We are so. Have you watched that Netflix show Altered Carbon?
Okay, no, that's on the list, but no, I haven't.
So you got to watch it from an interesting standpoint.
Yeah.
Super long story short, they figure out conscious and they learn how to download conscious, and they put it into a disc.
Okay.
And that disc is every human's got one, and it goes between your vertebrae and your neck, right?
Okay.
So the body is irrelevant.
Yeah.
You can get a good body, bad body, clone them, do whatever the hell you want, but basically, you've got.
So you can keep that little chip and put it in other
and that uploads to a master system, so that even if that goes, everything that's been uploaded can be just put in. So you effectively live forever, right?
So I can be a car if I want to.
And they have, I guess, I don't know how that, but that part, no. But they have in that movie, they have a lot of the AI and all these things.
Yeah.
And virtual reality or augmented reality that they deal with, and inserts that they have for the eyes, that it literally is, it's your phone, it's your entire communication system. And I'm watching it and I'm like, that is not that far off. I'm like, holy crap, that is not that far off. I'm like, that is
the consciousness is kind of that's one of those things. I'm like,
that's
whoa.
I'm not going to say we're not going to get there. I just think we're pretty far off.
Yeah, for that, but the rest of it, oh my goodness.
I was just watching. I'm like, you serious? Yes. I was like, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
And that, yeah. There we go. Yeah, that like all these things. So it's just
mildly horrifying, but I'd love to be like a '68 Mustang, fastback 500. I'm just saying. That's always.
I want to be a transformer.
Yeah.
Damn it. But yeah, and then even in the deals, like whatever, take somebody's arm.
Yeah.
Something happens here to their arm.
Yeah.
So this much of their arm is destroyed. They would effectively biotech everything there. So still everything from here down is theirs and everything from here up is theirs. But that section would be repaired with biotech.
Oh.
3D printed, the bones, the everything, and all implant.
Oh, so you mean so if there was something that happened just here. Oh, if the arm cut off, pulled off, right? You could put it back on, like reconstruct it.
Yes.
Reconstruct the connections.
Let's pretend like whatever, a large round from a rifle hit you here and took an inch segment out of your entire arm.
Yeah, okay.
They would rebuild that inch segment biotech, and then everything else would be...
place it back in there. And then
effectively, I'm simplifying the way I'm saying that. But
so you could go to war as many times as you want, get blasted as many times as you want, and then come back and just get fixed up.
And if what was uploaded... it didn't match that. Like if you uploaded and then you went into this battle and got blasted and then they downloaded everything back into the new body, you wouldn't know that you got blasted. That memory would never be there. It was never uploaded.
Oh no.
See, get that. Now your brain's gonna go blitzed with it, dude.
No, that is okay.
Right?
Beautiful, horrifying.
It's like cool, scary.
Yeah, no more shell shock.
That's cool. That's scary. Like, wait a second, what?
Oh, that's no.
Right.
That okay.
But then your body, your skin, is different every time. So, whatever I'm going into war. You would remember that part.
Yeah.
I'm going into this battle, and you take your first step, and you remember that part because it was uploaded there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you're in a different body. At a hospital
completely
or
different
clinic.
place, and you just have to system reboot real quick.
And so then you gotta get a mirror and feel like, okay, this is me now.
So I can't get like the
1996
John, like Jordan, S model.
Good. Clone it up, man. Like
okay, that's cool by me.
Because like in the movie, they had some like the really rich people.
Yeah.
They would have clones of themselves, so they would be the same all the way through.
Oh.
And then you could do things to your clones, like enhance them and make them more muscular or more reactive.
Yeah, I was about to say because I'd get like the super deluxe luxury version. Yeah. Or I'd put like leather seats into my 68. I'm just saying. I'm getting that car eventually.
Straight transformer, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Straight transformer.
No, I just want to be the car. I just want to be able to cruise and have fun. You want to
turn into the robot?
I don't care about the robot. I just want the car.
Right.
I have very good reality of like just the things that I want. I don't want to go way out there, but I do want, I want it to be nice.
This is me with cars. I love the way old cars look and feel and things of that nature. I will never own one. Why? Because when you compare them, they suck.
Talking performance standard?
Just they ride rougher. It's thing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, take my Camaro now compared to a Camaro, whatever, a 70 Camaro,
whatever,
right? Whatever. That effectively take the closest comparable model that you go each, right? Mm-hmm. I want this one. It's lighter, it's faster, it's zippier, it's smoother, it's it's got all the comforts, it's got all the I have to tune in Tokyo on the radio to figure shit. I know you can install new radios, but it's just it's a nostalgia thing. Like I'm like, those are cool, but
I love the clank. I love I love standard. I love the rough ride. I just enjoy, just because I've had this 01 Ford Explorer that we have just wrecked. It has been through everything. It's been stuck in the sand, stuck in the mud. We put it in the mountains. It's done everything that we possibly could to it just to see, how far can we take this thing? Oh, man. And it rides so rough. I'll get up on the highway, and, there'll be kind of bumps in the highway, and all of a sudden it'll be doing this number and start wobbling back and forth. It's like a roller coaster for me. It's exciting, right?
So it's cool. But if I had the resources to have both, I would love both.
Yes, exactly.
But it's like me. It's like if I have to pick one, I'm picking this one.
And don't get me wrong, I will totally just retro the car and fix the engine, adjust the suspension. But I want that car.
Like this would be like my dream scenario.
Yeah.
Go get some modern right now today Ford GT.
Yeah.
Right. Take whatever the late 60s, early 70s model and just put the shell on top of it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And then before you put the shell on top of it, do all of the insulation stuff and rewire everything.
Yep.
So effectively, I'm getting a 2018 Ford GT that looks like an older one.
Exactly.
That I'm cool.
That's what I'm going for, because I talk. I have a really good friend of mine. I used to teach his kids. He collects Pontiac Firebirds. Beautiful cars, but the maintenance on holding on to something like that, because we're talking different gases and different oils, and as soon as it gets older and older, cars aren't used to the ethanol, or they have some zinc compound, or they don't have.
Well, you get material metal fatigues and things of that nature too.
Exactly.
So
and then, or some of the chemicals will just wear out the engine faster, and then you get stuck with stuff like that. And okay, well, I don't want that, obviously, right? Yeah. And I'm living in the new age, so give me the old. Let's put in the new, and then let's go for a ride.
Yeah, like I love the whole shell thing. Like, cool. Just
Exactly.
Like, yes, I'm in. I can deal with that. But
no, that I agree with, because it would be so cool. But I think the size of them has changed, because I've seen.
That's what I'm saying. There had to be tweaks and things. That's what I'm like. It wouldn't match perfectly, but find today's version of the muscle car.
Yeah, exactly.
And find whatever old school shell fits on it,
and then just plug in all the innards.
Yeah.
Be done.
Be done with it, dude. Because then you have the right suspension, the right ride, the right everything.
Exactly. It feels smooth and looks just classic.
Dude. Yeah. It'd be heavier, because obviously materials back then were heavier. But
God, that's a good thing, because of all the way people are driving nowadays. We need heavier cars back. People need
every day I drive, I'm like, I fucking hate driving.
Oh my God,
hate it. I hate it.
I'm commuting from Katy to the Heights, back down to Sugar Land, up to Memorial City. Oh my goodness,
dude.
And I'm watching these guys, and I've found, when I'm at home, it's the worst, because we live in the suburbs, right?
Yeah.
And so we'll have people pulling out from those private lots, from those big strip malls and whatever, and not even stopping.
No.
Just blaring through. And I've watched so many people almost get hit just because they're just either not paying attention, or they see the person and think they can make it.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness. And being a biker, that is a horrifying experience.
Forget it.
My first accident, actually, and I think we had actually talked about this, was a guy pulling out from a lot, not paying attention to what I was in the far left lane, and I watched this guy just barrel all the way out, and I see, because I'm distracted, I see just a flash of silver.
Yep.
And I wasn't paying attention at that moment. You flash of silver, I just laughed to myself. All right, it's done. Yeah. I made peace with the Grim Reaper right then and there. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take it. I woke up and I was like, yeah,
crap. Yeah. Well, because that's like mine. It's like, because years ago I had a motorcycle, loved it.
Yeah.
And I just, in today's days,
it is
not even on my radar. Because in my car, even before this car, I had the big huge truck.
Yeah.
Big monster huge truck. Everybody can see it. No, they can't.
No.
Apparently they can't
They
see
choose not to.
the big monster truck right next. I'm like, no, you're gonna die.
Yeah, stop.
Like, I'm cool in my. I'll get a new truck. You're gonna be smushed.
Exactly.
Like, I'm like, oh, poor people. So,
no, that's why I don't get rid of this thing, this 01, because as soon as I do, I know somebody's gonna come in. Because I actually, I first got my first ever group fitness class.
Yeah.
And, you know, I got invited out to, oh, yeah, come do this for me real quick. Oh, yeah, no, what time? And it's like, okay, I was going to go an hour early and be there on time, you know, and be prepared and all this whole. On my way up there, and it had just rained, roads were wet, going through this intersection and watched this guy stopped at the intersection. And so, okay, he stops. He's not on my radar anymore. You know, he's not a threat. Passing through, I'm in the left lane. When I get into the intersection, as soon as I'm entering the intersection, he guns it. Right into my car, pulls wide, and I slam right in. I'm like, I can't. I put on the brakes, I honked, I did everything I could, and no, he just clipped me, and I went up onto the median, and I saw I shouldn't have done this, but there was this older lady who was in oncoming traffic coming this way, and I was up on the median at this point, and she freaking out, yelling in her car.
Yeah, because she thinks she's about to die. Yeah.
I just smiled and waved at her.
That's the best thing you could have done. Absolutely the best thing you could have done.
But here's the thing is, and this comes back into following my generation and what's happening, the guy drove off.
Oh, nice.
I chased his ass down.
Yeah.
I was on the phone with the cops, barreling down Dulles. Hey, this guy just hit me. I'm following him. I'm going to stop him. And I want you guys to be there when I do. Sure enough, he goes off. He comes down 90 and comes into Promenade, which is a neighborhood, and I'm sitting there the whole time. And at this point, he's blowing through stop signs, blowing through red lights, and I'm barely, you know, because I'll stop and then I have to go, and then I stop and I have to go, and I barely find him. And at one point, he just stops, gets out of the car, and just plays, oh, I don't, you know, this, that, and the other. Don't speak English, don't have insurance. And I was like, you're lying to me. You have a brand new car. You're wearing a high school shirt. Yeah, I know that's not true. And I was like, you're just being a dick about it all.
Did the cops get there?
Cops got there. Didn't write him anything.
Are you serious?
They just put it down as an event. Wasn't a case. Wasn't anything tied to it.
Oh, shit.
They didn't. They had barely taken my statement. Let the kid go scot-free for a hit and run. This is a hit and run where I got hit, you know, just because I was in that old car. I wasn't injured. Yeah. It cranked my neck around a little bit, but I was as soon as I realized he was going, I was on his ass. I was like, nah, man, this is not happening. Man. Boy, I wanted to light his ass. Oh.
You hear some things like that, man. I'm just like, that's son of.
And then you got it. And I sit here now, and I just wrecked my motorcycle. It was my fault, right? But I'll sit here now and think, you know, what happens when the guy comes out? You know, I've done everything I possibly can. He says, fuck you, man, and just hits me. I'm like, well, then I just have to live with that experience, right?
That's come. I'm just like, oh man, I've seen some of the spiders and some of the other three.
Yeah.
I'm like, those would be cool, but cool. I'm like, no, I don't want to be open to the elements.
No, yeah.
You know, this was 2 days ago, driving back from the gym here, so it's 6 miles.
Yeah.
Right at 6 miles, which is nothing. Most of that's highway.
Yeah.
Coke can. Some workers in one of the landscaping trucks. Boom, throws a Coke can out. Bam, right on the windshield. I'm like, if I was in a motorcycle or one of these other things, I'm potentially dead. Yeah. Because some jackass wanted to throw his Coke can out.
With Coke in it?
I don't think none was on the car. Yeah, none was on the car. But you know,
no, yeah.
Just like, whoa! I'm like, no, I'm not. Never gonna get one. Like, I'm just like, goodness. All it would take is one jackass, and I'm dead.
I have had the experience of people throwing things out of their car, and every biker can tell you'll get behind certain cars, and I found always with Nissans. Right, and I'm gonna name drop here. Just it's nothing.
Nissan's gonna kill you now.
It's nothing bad. Yeah. But so a lot of water will kind of build up when you're not driving it in the exhaust, and so I've been behind guys, and you know, a Nissan will come out in front of me, and all of a sudden I'm just getting sprayed with water. I'm like, oh, whoa, what is this? Yeah. And the first time it happened, I was like, is this guy spitting on me? What is going on?
That's hilarious. I didn't think about that.
But yeah, no, it was just one of those goofy things. Or people throwing out their cigarettes.
Oh,
It hits me in the face.
Yeah.
Or people, smoking, and then all of a sudden I get this big thing like, what is this hot sensation on my face? And it's their, their embers or whatever.
Yeah.
And so no, I definitely cruise around those people and get away.
Yeah.
Or just slow all the way down. But I mean, I was so, when it comes to the safety of the riding, I was so blessed to be taught by a guy that we call Tater.
Okay.
Because he kind of looks like a tater. Wonderful guy.
Been
He's been riding for forever. Really experienced guy. And he was the one, and his wife taught me how to ride. And they went through, okay, this is what you need to learn, and this is what we want you to learn.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, thank God, I have people that actually care, And so it was just one of those things.
Yeah.
And so they've probably, in every situation that I've been in a bad situation, they've saved my life just because of the education that they gave me.
See,
so I can move on.
Proper education to do what you want to do.
Exactly.
Hello.
But
that is common sense, damn it.
Yeah. Proper education is absolutely
proper education
sense.
For situations that are going to likely occur, and you get to do what you enjoy doing.
Exactly. Yeah. Be prepared for the consequences, but don't stop and don't be afraid of it. Right. And so, no, I don't know.
Nice. Dude, we're up, man.
This is it?
It's like an hour and a half.
Oh shit! Yeah. Whoops.
I was looking down. I'm like, see,
yeah,
that was quick, dude.
Was it 4 topics or so?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah. Whatever.
Reattachable penises. That's really.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That was that was the kicker.
Yeah. No kidding.
But yeah,
Holy
dude,
cow.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's nuts.
You're like, it was what? Hour and a half?
Yeah, I was like, hour and a half. That can't be right.
Like,
I've got a meeting.
Insane, dude. Yeah, perfect. It's awesome. So everybody that watched, thank you. And people that are gonna be listening, because obviously that's where the bulk of it is later. Is download and listen.
Yeah.
Dude, shoot me input, please. I need help. Both kinds of help. Help with this and other help, and
I wasn't gonna say it, but
yeah, well, let's be real.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Anybody who claims that they aren't crazy is probably the most crazy person in the room.
Oh yeah.
So let's be legit on that.
That's
awesome.
Vastly true. And then negative feedback for me, please.
You're like, please give me that. It's like if you ask for the hate, they don't give it to you.
Yeah, well, no, that's bullshit. I want the
hate. Send me some hate, man. You might this one because we talked the word guns.
Oh yeah, involved. Good.
We said guns, we said penis, and we said gender.
Yeah.
So somebody's getting some hate.
Yeah.
That's unavoidable.
Watch me. I'm just gonna get a hailstorm of just bullshit.
Send it to me though, dude.
I'm so looking forward to it. Yeah, please do.
Yeah. Awesome. So thank you guys. I appreciate it, and we will see you next time. Date, place, that thing.
Whoop.